How is the coronavirus impacting the global economy? Let me first draw your attention to several trends that were in process of changing the global economy even before the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. One, the technological revolution and the digitization of the economy. Two, what we have witnessed as a return to protectionism and trade wars, like the one between the United States and China, for example, between the United States and even Europe, and even between different countries in the world. Three, a supply chain war. The Road and the Belt Chinese project is just an example of this war for raw materials, for rare earth, for special materials. Four, the crisis blowing in different parts of the European Union. Debt crisis in Greece, in Portugal, in Italy, in Spain, and even the Brexit that have not been concluded till now. Five, the rise of China as a political, military, and economic world power. Six, the possibility of a world financial crisis similar to the one that we have witnessed in 2007 and 2008 due to the enormous, huge amount of debts either from states and private in the world, which exceed 3 times the world GDP before the corona crisis. 7, the cyber wars and cyber crimes. And last but not least, before the corona virus in the world economy, the unrest of the middle class in different parts of the world, the Yellow Vests in France, for example, Occupy Wall Street, We Are the 99%, and so on. Which means that already before the corona pandemic, there was a new world economic order in its embryonic stage, replacing the globalization era, which began in the late 80s and early 90s of the 20th century with the advances of the information communication technologies, the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, November, the dismantling of the Soviet Union in December 1990, the rise of China as a factory of the world, the Asian tigers, and the creation of the WTO to begin its work the 1st January 1995, based on all the previous GATT trade agreements. All what the COVID-19 crisis did is really to accelerate those trends by an estimated of 3 to 5 years time, according to the world experts. But of course, it has also its own impact on the global economy, especially in the short and medium term, by, let me state some points. One, by lowering the degree of economic globalization and accordingly strengthening the local supply chains due to the restrictions, of course, on the movement of people and products, as we have seen during all the last period. Two, by increasing the level of deficits in government spending and consequently increasing the level of government debts. Also, the impact in the medium term and short term of the virus is by trying to rely, we have seen this, trying to rely more for each country on self-sufficiency, especially in food and health drugs. Four, by increasing the role of government in controlling the economy. Some thinkers, some experts, some economists are thinking, are we going or witnessing a shift of state capitalism all around the world in the next period? This is an interrogation point too. But also, there is the control of government on its citizens through advances in the technological application provided to monitor the virus, like we have seen in China and different parts of the world. And also some thinkers and specialists are talking, are we also heading toward a new kind of digital dictatorship? They are using this word, digital dictatorship. Five, by strengthening the health and education institutions. Six, and this is unfortunately, by increasing the percentage of poverty and unemployment and even widening the social gap inside every country and even between countries. But I can see myself also a lot of positive sides as a result of the pandemic. The new ways of teaching, hybrid education is an example. So, and as a professor, I can say this, so that the classes, the physical one, will be devoted completely to critical thinking, to cases, to question and answers, and we will leave the traditional lecture giving to all the students online. So this kind of hybrid education, we have, the COVID had in fact accelerated it, and it will be a positive side in the future. So the class will not only be devoted just to a professor talking and giving the lecture, but as I said, to critical thinking and other matters. Also, a positive side, what we have seen as awareness of the importance of the health sector and its people. Doctors, nurses. One also positive side, the bounce, the huge bounce in e-commerce in the world. But for myself, I have seen a very important positive point. The talent shown by the young generations, mastering the new technologies, applications, startups, and also, of course, another positive point, distance meetings, webinars, as I have the one with you today. On the macroeconomic side, I talked about the macroeconomic, but on the microeconomic side, I would like to pinpoint that the COVID-19 crisis has been a catalyzer for a hybrid virtual model for business, a new combination of remote and on-site working, which is beneficial in terms of access to talent, productivity, and speed, and of course, the cost of real estate. Another point in the microeconomic side. While it has speeded, as I said, the digitization of customer interactions, it provoked, during the last period, a decline in income. And consumers are very careful in spending since they are unsure when the pandemic will end. Their spending, as we have seen, went more on groceries and household essentials, which has affected a lot of other businesses. But also on the macro and micro economic sides, I would like to add the Interpol Cybercrime COVID-19 Impact Report released in August 2020, a couple of months ago. Quote, as a result of the global shift to teleworking, criminals are taking advantages of the increased security vulnerabilities to steal data, generate profits, and cause disruptions. To maximize damage and financial gain, cyber criminals are shifting their targets from individuals and small businesses to big companies, government, and critical infrastructure, unquote. I would like also to conclude with a statement from the IMF World Economic Outlook, last month, October 2020. Quote, the ascent 2021, 2022, 2023 will likely be back, uneven, and uncertain, unquote. But from my part, I am optimistic in view of what I am watching as a man of more than 80 years today, of this unprecedented pace to deliver vaccines and to elaborate on different treatments. And also, what I have seen, that all these efforts are due to this ingenuity of the human race for its survival. But let me add also a point for this important Techni Summit. Let's not forget, and probably this is what you will be discussing in your summit, let's not forget the technological revolution coming in the next year with the creation, there is a positive, optimistic note, with the creation of around 100 million jobs by 2025, adapted to the new division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms. Thank you for your attention and all the best in your proceedings at the Techni Summit. I would have liked, of course, like every year, each year, to attend, but unfortunately, I'm not in Alexandria, but I will follow your proceedings, your inputs, your outcomes, and all the best of luck. Thank you again.